Watch Who?
Hello.
And welcome to Two Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
The Earth is hungry.
Is that what you planned as well? Or did you not plan anything again?
That's what I planned. I've been taken by the Earth, haven't I?
Sure, yeah.
Well, it's Frontios this week, everyone. Welcome back.
Frontios.
Frontios.
We're both a little bit ill. We should say that. Like, I'm better than what I was. We are a bit late recording this ourselves because when we were due to record, I messaged Mark, like, I can't even look at a screen. I can't even look at the TV. I couldn't do anything. I did try. I started it then. And I did the first episode and I was like, I don't even know if I've watched anything. I've had to go back and rewatch it. I was like, I can't. It was horrific.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since we recorded. We did The Awakening. Then we had our London trip.
Yeah, which is why we both got ill.
And now we're sort of ill. And then, so I watched this quite a while ago when we were supposed to record. So you've watched it fresher than me.
Oh, well, that doesn't promise anything at this point. Honestly, I watched episode 1, definitely. And when I've looked, I'd also watched episode 2. I don't remember because I was so ill. I couldn't look at TVs. So I was like, it was horrific. And so I went back and watched, I don't really remember a lot of episode 1, but I went back and watched episode 2 because I was like, I don't even remember it starting. I don't remember going into episode 2. I was so ill.
Good luck to us then, talking about Frontios today. But since we last recorded, we've had the 2 new episodes of Doctor Who on TV, the 2 specials.
I've watched them both.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I watched we're recording on Monday, so I watched it late Sunday evening, Blue Yonder, whatever it's called. And the first one I watched again a few days after it came out. I'm
enjoying them.
Yeah. Do you know what? I spoke to a few people about it. I think I really enjoyed the second one. I thought there was a little. I think maybe it's just because it was the 2 of them, so there's a little bit more time for that character story thing. But they're just, to me, they're just fun one-off for the 60th specials. Obviously they'll live in the canon, but they're not a series. They're just, to me, they don't seem like part of the series. In the same way that the 5 Doctors, that's how I feel of it. In the same way, when I've watched the 5 Doctors and it felt just like this one-off fun thing that you could come into and enjoy. This feels like it's its own little mini storyline, why has he got this old face again? And we get to revisit some characters that we've had previously. And and also I'm sure there is canon to it. Obviously there is but it feels just like its own little mini for the 60th storyline of fun. That's how I see it. I don't see it as part of the main series. I think if they bring it out, I don't think, what series are we on now? 13, 14? What are we on? I don't even know.
Of the new series?
Yeah.
Oh, I've lost count.
Because Flux was your last one, wasn't it? I don't even know what series that was.
Well, no, this would be the special. Yeah. It would be the 3 specials.
They'll come out as either individually or little 3 specials together. That's how they'll come out. They won't come out as part of I don't know, whatever we're on, 14, 15, 21. I don't know what the frick we're on. I'm not allowed to watch it, am I? But Mark's allowed me to watch these specials.
I don't know. I'm just feeling a bit weird. It's weird you talking about new Doctor Who and sort of releases and I don't know. It's just really weird. Let's go back to the 80s for now. Let's just all go back. Let's stop talking about this because it's making me feel weird.
Mark's finding me talking about Doctor Who. That's all we do, okay?
Yeah, but my mind is in season 21 right now. I can't. Well, I know I enjoyed the new ones. I'll just say, but don't go on Doctor Who Twitter.
Oh, I've avoided
any of those episodes.
I know it'll be the worst place in the world, so I've avoided it.
Oh my God, I can't even go into all these debates that this last episode's come up. Anyway,
what I will say is, I think that this has always been the case, right? And then people sort of forget about it. Like Doctor, do you know what I mean? Like I think back to like, I remember, I don't remember a lot of stuff, but I remember it being in the news and stuff about like John Barrowman's character and like, you know, oh, and he's gay and he was kissing a man, all this stuff, you know, now we don't even think about it. Like, and he went on to have his own series. You're right, like, I don't think about stuff like that. This has always been the pattern. And also, what's really interesting, actually, because we are doing it in classics and we go through in order, but there's definitely been things in the past that were like of their moment. We've had stuff about the EU, we've had stuff about New Zealand, all this sort of stuff. It's always been about the times and what's present and the topics of the now, putting it in this like futuristic. That's what it's always done. That's really evident and obvious.
Well, let's see what we can find out in Frontios then. Let's go into today's story. I've watched quite a few times. I got this on video for my 11th birthday.
Oh.
And I know that because there's a picture of me and my cake and the video next to me.
So you got a few, I think, for your 11th birthday, did you? I'm sure we've mentioned the cake and...
Oh, there's a few different... every birthday seemed to be a video and a...
Oh, look at you. Well, hang on. What other videos in that little set?
Oh, it's a double. It was The Awakening and Frontios, so it was a two
double
stories
whammy.
in one. That's my immediate memory of it. And I haven't really watched it very much that many times since. So going into it, I was trying to make notes of being like, right, actually, I'm going to try and follow the story a bit more and really sort of try and find another layer to it if I can. Let's just talk through the story then and just see what you remember as well.
What do I remember?
Well, it starts off like a bit like a new series episode with that man going under the ground and you see something strange is happening. Which I didn't realise until I was looking up. That guy that goes under the ground in the first place is that old leader.
Ah, okay.
Talking about, which I didn't make that connection, which is probably everyone's like, oh, that's really obvious.
But a lot of the first episode I don't remember, so yes.
Okay. Well, you remember the guy going under the ground,
I sort of remember that, but I don't remember much detail of like who he was. So, and if you're saying the same until now, then yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a tricky one. Right. Well, the story's all in studio. So it looks like in terms of going underground and the colony. There were some really good shots, especially when they went into the thing and like some of it looked really cool. I thought they were actually somewhere else and had a few filming locations for some bits. We see, Tegan's got a new outfit. Let's do clothes watch. I didn't even clock that. I clocked her heels though. When she was running, she's still in bloody little kitten heels. She's still in the heels, but she's got, it's not that different an outfit. It's like a leather skirt and sort of white with red and black sort of stripy bits. I hadn't clocked it. To be fair, it's been a while since we watched the last one. I hadn't clocked since that it was a different outfit. Okay. So at least she's changing every couple of stories now. And who isn't changing is Turlough. Turlough still in his uniform. Really weird. And we've got into this sort of routine of like the Doctor doing something in the TARDIS before the story starts. So he's doing a bit of a home edit and like tidying up or with the hat stand and stuff. And then the TARDIS lands down and there's these... So the concept of this story, there's this colony that's crashed. So the ship has crashed, landed, and everyone's been living there for like, I don't know, years and years, like over 30 years. It came down in a meteorite thing and they're having these regular meteorite attacks and nobody knows why or what's going on. Meanwhile, also... every now and then somebody sort of disappears and there's a mysterious death. Okay, I'm sort of recapping for audience and for you. Because also, like you meet those people at the start, I can't remember names, but they're very chill. And they're like, oh yeah, well, we just got these shots. Oh, you want people die? And they're like, what? I like how they are accepted straight away. So it's Mr. Range and then his daughter... yeah. Who I always thought was called Lorna, but actually she's called Norna when I looked it up. Unless TARDIS Wiki has written that differently. Norna. I think you are right. I think it is Lorna. No, it's Norna. I'm sure that's what it was in subtitles. Oh. Actually, I've still got the last credits on. Do you want me to see what her name is? Well, yeah, I mean, it must be Norna, but I've always called her Lorna, and I've written Lorna down.
It's
Like,
on Tegan right now. One sec.
I
Tegan,
suppose Norna is.
Turlough, Raisin, Norna.
It is Norna, yeah. I don't know
Leslie
why.
Dunlop, Norna.
Okay, well, let's call her Lorna from now on. We always do this. So, Mr. Range and Norna. I call Lorna. Lorna.
You can't do it even. Norna. Let's call her Norna. That's her name.
Okay, we'll call her Norna. I like how it's sort of like this medical facility, and the doctor's getting straight in, helping out. Tegan's quite helpful as well, and Turlough. I think they're quite a good team in this, all of them together.
Yeah, and people have quite a bit to do in this.
Well, they've all got a bit to do. Should we just go all over? Let's not go in order. Let's just talk about that. Because Turlough actually has the most he's probably ever done since his first story.
And he's really good in this. When, like, the end of that, I think it was the end of the second episode when he comes in, he's in that shock. It was really good. I'm sure it's the end of the second episode because I rewatched it.
Yeah, that's a bit later on. So and there's sort of hints while they're talking about stuff, and then he's sort of remembering, and it's the first thing we've had about his people, where he's from, stuff. So it's sort of like a race memory of like his people were attacked by the Tractatus long ago. But finally, when that was happening, I was thinking, I bet you're like pleased about this.
Yeah, absolutely. He had something like, and he did it really well, and it was effective. Yeah, I was a fan of it.
Yeah, and he also has, he's helping out the Doctor and Tegan as well when he's got the hat stand, pretending it's a gun and stuff. And actually, it's Tegan, Turlough, and Norna working as a team together when they've got to go and get that battery. I wrote down they've got journey
that
for
was
the
in the first
Duracell.
episode, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's basically the story of the first episode.
All of that stuff, all that scene, like they go in and then they're going down the street. All of that looked amazing, and they were going through like legs were popping. All of that stuff looked really cool, I thought.
Because I don't know if we've had that before. It's where they do like a glass shot where it's like them like little in the studio, and then you see all the rafters and stuff, and that's like painted on like they do in like sort of films and stuff. I don't know if we've had a lot of that before.
I don't know, but it was really effective.
It looks really good, yeah. And you feel like they're going through this ship, and there's different levels and things like that. But I quite liked Journey for the Battery. I thought it was like
the battery.
It was, but I don't know why it took the Doctor and that to arrive to be like, oh, by the way, have you got a battery? And they're like, oh yeah, we have got a battery. Let's go and get it. Like, I don't know why they didn't think about it before.
Well, we never question these things. You know that is the rule.
But even though it was just something, it wasn't like action adventure. It was just getting a battery, getting a pulley. I quite like that it was just more Tegan and Turlough working together with their new friend Norna. And then the Doctor's helping out, and then we get, well, I wrote down when I first saw him, because I sort of remembered it a bit wrong, I wrote down Prince Dickhead.
Prince of the young, oh right,
like the young guy who's in.
I thought you meant the artist Prince. I was like, no one looked like Prince. What are you on about? Sorry.
So he's like,
I would have called him Leader.
Okay, Leader.
I don't know why. I was like, why did I jump to like the music artist, not royalty? But okay.
Because I misremembered it, because he starts off a little bit. I was thinking, oh, he's going to be this dickhead leader that's going to be like, oh, you're going to like capture the Doctor and all this. What are you doing? You're a spy and all this stuff. I sort of remembered it in that way. And then I wrote down like Prince, like conservatorship, like Brittany, because there's that other guy, the security guy that's sort of telling you what to do.
He's really annoying.
And I
that's
thought,
his point, but like he's really
there's always like one annoying one. And then he was sort of telling the younger guy what to do a little bit, and I thought, oh, that's the situation. But then actually, the Prince is a bit of a dickhead, but everybody does. They all start working together by sort of end of episode 2 at least. Even that security guy is, well, he's sort of hiding a few things, but they do all end up working together at least.
Yeah.
At some point, a bit later on. So it wasn't as, capture, you're a spy, all this, although we get a little bit of that. But I think it helps at the end of the first episode where the meteorites come down and it's sort of attacking the Doctor as well, sort of thing. So at least the Prince is like, well, they can't be the people doing it because they're being attacked as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for me, it was all effective. It worked well.
And even the effect of the people going underground.
I thought the initial shots, like I said at first, that was really cool. I thought it did a decent enough way. There's a lot of detail. No one really knows why they're doing anything. There's a lot of soldiers. There's a lot of people in this.
I mean, then you get sort of the scavenger people, and you're sort of fed a little bit of their history bit by bit throughout the conversations in the first couple of episodes. So you're building up this picture that the other leader went missing. He's closed off some areas. There's something. I liked how the mystery is sort of woven through. I
think I followed it. I have enough of an idea. Gosh, if I'm going to parrot the whole thing. They don't know why people are going missing. There's obviously, whenever people go missing, there's all these inquiries because their leader's gone. So people get really angsty and angry about it. And people are also I couldn't work out early on when they were they wouldn't let them in for the supplies. Or I don't know. Anyway.
But it's I think they're just trying to conserve stuff because they crashed on the planet and there's not much left.
Well, that's the point. Also, like I said, I don't really remember much. I remember bits of it, but I don't remember a lot of the first episode storyline. I just remember feeling a bit other than feeling ill, I felt a bit why are they doing that? I don't know. They're trying to colonize their own planet because they've landed there, but they keep getting struck by meteors and people are going missing. And then the actual alien-y things, they're building tunnels, but that's what I couldn't understand. Are they building the tunnels or have they persuaded the other people? I couldn't work that bit out. And then, because...
Well, no, the ship was on its way to colonize and it got drawn in and crashed on that planet.
Yeah, but weren't they on there? But what? Yeah, they crashed on the planet. But, right, yeah, I'm with it now. They were already building the tunnels. Right, sorry, yeah.
Well, they're okay. We'll go
because then they can move the planet.
We got the Tractators, who are woodlousey creatures. But that first shot, I mean, those tunnel sets look really like the sort of shininess to them. They've got a bit of a glow to them. I think this whole story's lit really well, and I always complain about the lighting, but finally...
Oh, yeah, it looks really good. It does look really good.
It looks really good. And then when it's Team Turlough and Lorna together, what do we call them? Oh, sorry, Norna. Hang on, I'm trying to think of a name.
Norna.
Norna.
Not Norn.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Hang on. No, I'm trying to think of a name for them. Turlough and Norna. Torna. Okay, Team Torna
Team
are down in the... But when they go down, and they're the ones that first meet the Tractators, because they walk past and it's the shells, and then they turn round, and you don't notice. They have a whole scene in front of the creatures that are just standing there still, and then they turn round, and they've been there all along, and they just blend in so well. I think that's quite a clever reveal.
It was, yeah. There was a lot of good reveals in this, actually. The first cliffhanger-wise wasn't great. The second cliffhanger, though, is when Turlough and the Doctor gets put in the thing and you see them for the first time. That was a good cliffhanger. I'm trying to remember which the third one was now.
Oh, the head of the old captain is in that machine.
Yeah,
that was horrible.
Yeah,
that is a really graphic.
Good cliffhangers in this.
It's got a bit dark. It's got a bit of a darker tone, and I feel like this season so far, it's got only slightly, and I feel like the Doctor's got a bit more authority, and is a bit more. I don't know. There's just a different tone to these last few stories in this season, and I like how the way that they do the gravity and get people in. Everybody's got to do their best gravity acting in all of this, being pulled along the floor and all of that stuff. That's quite good. But it's a really simple effect, just that putting a glow on it. And just what do you think of the actual creatures themselves, though, the costumes? Because we haven't had a big monster like this for a little while.
The work of excavation is our task. Beneath the soil, we can expand and populate the whole of Frontios.
I thought for the time, they were really effective. They're not brilliant, are they? But look, its mouth sort of moved. Its arms are weird. It can't really walk. I think the trouble is because they actually have to engage and be some form of engage. Like they have a lot of conversation with the Doctor, so they kind of need to be able to do all that. And that's when you notice their flaws. But in that initial scene when you first see them and they're like these giant beetles and like they look slimy-ish and creepy and like all of that looked really cool. That initial scene when we first see them, like I was like, oh, this looks cool. It's once they start, and their voices aren't grating, they do fit, but once they start having to do more interaction with the Doctor, their flaws do sort of appear.
It's that main one, yeah. What's he? The Gravis. He's the leader one where all the power comes from, and there's a lot of dialogue, isn't there, between them? He's like a proper character. Yeah, they do work best when they're just the background creatures. And I mean, they're almost sort of Web Planet-y a little bit. They wouldn't look out of place on the Web Planet with all the moths and the bees.
No, they wouldn't. No.
Else. They're sort of going back to that. But no, I think it's the mouth is always the problem, isn't it? Where it's not, if it just moved a bit better. But
and the arms in this case. And he says there's a point, I think the Doctor says something and he goes, oh, maybe, I can't remember, he says like, give me your hand. There's something and I had sort of had a little giggle to myself as in like, oh yeah, you can't do that.
When he gets knocked out, he just sort of collapses on his face. Like, he can't do anything else. Yeah. Oh, but no, I think they are quite an effective design. Probably not exactly how the writer imagined them, but for the time, yeah, you're right. They're all right. I saw one. There's one in the Doctor Who Experience.
Was there? What, in the Bay? When it was here?
One. Yeah, they had one. Yeah, they had a whole, what they call Tractatus there. I'll have to show you the picture. I'm just standing there next to one like, hey, they're massive and they look pretty impressive.
I reckon they seem to be because like the Doctor's quite tall, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I did find annoying in this story, and it's a classic Tegan thing, Turlough is out of it. The Doctor's told that guy, wait here. And of course she's like, no, he's my responsibility. And I was like, oh.
Well, no, she starts off quite well because she's helping Mr. Range quite a lot. So she's sort of paired off with him. So that's Tegan and Mr. Range. We'll call Trange.
And then they're doing that like inquiry thing and like and like Turlough's there like in fear. like there's a few good moments. But that with Tegan, that whole bit, and I was like, oh, just love, get out the way. Like you're gonna get, and that's the whole point of the story. We need the story to move on. We need something to happen. I get it, but like I was like, ugh, can't wait for some dialogue.
It feels like there's actually probably too many supporting characters for the story because you've got Dr. Tegan and Turlough, then you've got Norna, then you've got Mr. Range, then you've got the security guy, and you've got the Prince. Like, there's quite a lot going on. And then the Prince turns out to be all right. He's been captured in that machine, and the Doctor's sort of working with him. I think the story slows down a little bit. It's sort of part 3. There's a bit of waiting around till you get to the end. And even actually the end is quite... All it is you've got to separate the leader from... The others are just general bugs, and the leader's given them the power.
The TARDIS is coming together.
That's impossible.
For you and me, maybe. When the Gravis really wants something,
The TARDIS will be repaired.
with a bit of luck any moment, the plasmic outer walls of the TARDIS will seal.
We'll be in our own dimension.
If your theory is correct, Turlough, then the vital link between the Gravis and his Tractator chums... Hold on!
My favourite part of this whole thing is seeing when because the TARDIS is apparently blown up and destroyed and just the hat stands left.
Yeah, that was the thing as well. I was like, I think that's where in my head I almost mixed something up this week, and I was like, no, because the TARDIS went away. When I was watching, I was like, is the TARDIS gone away? I was like, oh no way. That would be explained, but it's apparently blown up and destroyed. This thing that like literally no one can move, and they throw guns and bombs at it and it's fine, but now suddenly it's destroyed. I don't know.
Well, apparently it's been like displaced with the power of the Gravis underground. But I love the image of all just sort of the bits of the wall in the caves, like bits of it everywhere, and there's just a random door.
Yeah, I liked that. I did like that.
I quite like, and when they're actually in the console room and there's all the bits of rock around them, it looks better actually with bits and pieces in it. I really like that. And then persuading the Grav, that's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit sort of comedy where he's like, come through the door, and they get him in there and they want him to, and he's like, don't press that button, and I can't, like, how does he press the button? He does something, doesn't he? He presses the button. That's quite Yeah, I mean, it's quite a simple explanation, but it is quite fun.
It does what it
Quickly
needs
for
to
me.
do. It does what it needs
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, I feel like you're not too keen on it, or you.
It's not one that and again, it could just because I've watched it a bit ill. There were some nice characters in it, but there was no like mega characters of like that you love, you know. There was no silly character. It was all quite.
I don't know. I wasn't sure how you're going to think Mr. Range and Norna. I thought they
I
might
loved
be our
them.
favourites.
I loved Mr. Range. I think, you know, when they're like, oh, they're down here, and he's like, they're everywhere. I don't know. I found it quite dramatic. I did enjoy Mr. Range. The best part about this story for me was the amount that Turlough had to do at last. It was really strong from Turlough. And that's the thing, when Turlough's good, he's really good. I enjoyed some of the little elements of like the story, how it plotted things along. And then, you know, like you say, the reborn, all that sort of stuff. I enjoyed that. I'm not going to watch it again in a heartbeat. I'd say it's like a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
So
I think it's a bit higher for me.
Yeah. There was enough to enjoy. I got through it.
That's all we can ask to get through it. Some of them you just got to get through.
Yeah.
But no, I think the Turlough stuff is great. When he's given stuff to do, he is a good actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, and then it sort of ends on a bit of a cliffhanger because they're pulled like.
So obviously
crashing.
I don't even know what the name of the title is. I have no idea, but I'm presuming that maybe it's a Gallifrey thing because that was nothing they kept saying the whole way through. Don't tell them on Gallifrey. Don't let them know. And even right at the end, he goes, remember, if they say something, we didn't do anything. So I feel like it was pulling into something to do with that. That's what I feel. I could be wrong, but...
Okay. Well, because they take the Gravis away on another... You don't see it, but the Doctor and Tegan are like... They go and take him away, apparently, to live on a planet on his own. And obviously...
I actually wondered whether Turlough was going to stay. Because obviously he had a real connection to what these guys had done. That was like really good. And he was getting on with Norna. So I thought actually at the end of it, when they were like, are you going to help us rebuild? I thought he was going to stay as sort of like a replay of what happened with his planet that he could help this one.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I can see how you thought that, and I thought you would be thinking that when he started because just randomly all these episodes, then suddenly he starts talking about his own planet.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and usually they get a bit. The moment they get a bit of development is because they're leaving.
Usually, yeah.
A lot of the time, but no, he could have. Yeah, I think he could have settled down with Norna. Why can't I get that right? We'll
blame you being ill.
That would have been good, but no, yeah, it's a good one. And actually, there's loads of audio stories set in between when the Doctor and Tegan take the Gravis off. That's like a gap that's been filled. So the Doctor and Tegan have a couple of CDs. There's a couple of CDs of the Doctor on his own. He's left Tegan in the TARDIS. And Turlough on the Frontios. There's like you could probably fit a whole season of audios within that gap of him taking the Gravis off and then coming back.
Right.
So when they land and you see him come out the TARDIS and he's like, they've had a whole series in between there.
Of course they have.
Well, next, I think I need to check on BritBox.
Right.
Are you still watching on BritBox?
Yeah. Oh, we've paid for it, love. I'm watching it until we're not paying anymore.
I think it's a 2-parter.
Oh, do you want me to check?
It's a 2-parter, but the only way I say
still doing subtitles because they're still doing end credits. I hasn't come up with the name. Hang on, I'll let it go. I'll come up with it now.
Well, I wasn't going to tell you. My plan was just to tell you it's a 2-parter. So you're like, yeah, it's a 2-parter.
Well, I'm excited if it is a 2-parter, but you're not even sure if it's a 2-parter.
Well, it is a 2-parter.
Okay, hang on.
And it went out as a 2-parter.
Right.
Because I think, if I'm remembering this right, because like the Olympics was on or something. Right. So they edited a 4-parter into 2-parter. So it's 2 45-minute episodes.
Right. Okay.
So
it's basically a 4-parter into 2. Okay, fine.
But my plan was just to tell you it was 2 and then not tell you how long they were. But no, I should prepare you.
Of course you were.
So see how you find that. So I think sometimes it's out. I think on the DVD and stuff, it's been like 4, which they made it as 4, but because of whatever was happening on the BBC at the time, they cut it. They made it into 2:45 minutes.
Okay.
Which so I think on iPlayer it's 2:45 minutes. I think probably on BritBox it's 2:45 minutes. So there you go. You've been prepared.
I have no excuse now.
Oh, and it's called Resurrection of the Daleks.
Oh, okay. Right. So I'm guessing the Daleks are in it. That's what's pulling them back.
We've got past Frontios. That's all we can do. That's all we can do this week.
That's it, Mark. Where
That's
can you
it.
find us?
Okay, fine. There we are. That is it. So, well, in the meantime, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 2watchwho.
And you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/2watchwho.
Yeah, we'll see you all next week for the return of the Daleks, because we haven't seen them for a while.
Oh,
How exciting.
exciting indeed.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Watch who?